All right, go for it, guys. The remote neural
Um,
monitoring.
Yeah, the RNN, the remote neuromonitoring, was patented in 74, so they've had 50 years to perfect it by now. And a lot of people don't believe me when I say it, but my dreams have been manipulated against my will for the past decade about, and every night's a battle, man. Just terrible dreams. When I'm lucid, I'm struggling to have control over what I'm creating, and then I'll get control, and then it will just be warped into some horrible thing. And it's just like we must have some power that these entities or this evil force wants to corrupt and like take advantage of, because I'm just a guy, I'm like one person, but they don't like me.
we don't fit. I just
Yeah,
subscribed to your channel. Um,
for sure.
yeah, somebody has sent me there before, probably Brandon. I knew the name,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, some of the stuff might be kind of redundant on there. I'd say if you go back in the past like 6 months to a year, there was more variety of stuff, but I don't do anything more on there except for occasional live streams anymore. So, but it's cool.
yeah.
It's fun. Yeah,
It's
all
hard to
kinds of
not
variety.
be it's hard to not be black pilled to a degree when you know everything is built on lies and manipulative tactics to hide us from ourselves. It's
Yeah.
it's hard not to want to just be like, I'm just shutting the door on everything. I'm just gonna walk out into the woods and see you later. But
Well, it's just depressing having my dreams manipulated every night. And then I come here, I wake up and I'm like, all right, that's over. I barely got enough sleep. And then Matrix stuff happens here. Agent Smith goes through people and I'm like, all right, I don't know, man. It's crazy. This place is so weird.
well, this
Freaking
morning
pathetic.
I was working at the zoo, and I mean I just go in, I clean up the outside, do feed, do hay, do water, and before I get started, the the boss who I deal with primarily, like the owner, um, wants to sit and talk about like Jesus and stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm about to break your brain if you want to keep going on telling me what I shouldn't know. And he just kind of he was like dumbfounded. He's like, yeah, I got a headache. I'm like, yeah. Whenever I talk truth to somebody who doesn't want to deal with truth, you'll get a headache and you'll literally want to go lay down. The same thing happened with my grandmother, my 16-year-old, my wife. I've noticed this trend. It's almost like they can't compute, and that gets back into the whole NPC thing and all that stuff. But it's definitely an effect or a phenomenon with them. He's like, I can't argue with you on that. I think you're right. He kept saying, you're definitely right. You're definitely right. I'm talking about Inky and Enlil. I'm talking about Yaldabaoth, the Anunnaki, Elohim. He's telling me about the Bible. Then I'm throwing the Bible back at him. I'm saying there's pearls in there, but I don't know if you
God.
think people can comprehend it. Anyway,
Yeah, that's a conversation that'll go forever.
yeah, yeah,
In loops.
right.
Well, it's just coming back to my mind about Emma in the Telegram group. She's talking about NPC truthers too. So it's not just NPCs, but plants and truthers out there that are NPCs. So that's making it really hard. And then we get shadow banned and censored like crazy, and our numbers manipulated. So we don't even know who's watching or not watching, and comments being deleted. So they were already ready for us, keep us on a real small platform. Of course, I don't really want to be out there, but I'm out there. And but yeah, coming back to the dreams, that seems to be a super irritating thing that's amping up lately, because they're constantly programming something into your mind to get you to, while your brain tries to grasp but desperately trying to interpret this, like, what is this? You get this weird symbol, weird dream, because they're trying to implant something so you'll make it happen and perceive it in the next couple days. And or they're doing all kinds of stuff to you, who knows, implants, mind programs, whatever. But I'm finding I don't know, Jared, if you're sensing the same thing. I'm finding it harder to lucid dream. Like I'm going into a deep freaking sleep,
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
I'm so deep in I can't get in there to but like you're saying, also when you do go in and lucid dream, they're like ready for you and they're flipping it around. It's freaking annoying.
I think it has to do with the I don't know if you've heard of the lady Sabrina Wallace. She came out on the scene like in the past year or two, but she talks about the sixth generational advanced technology. Basically, I think you even mentioned this in your channel, but the way I understand it is since mid 90s when the internet came out, I guess there's factions of people with technology, government factions, whatever you want to say, that basically hijacked humanity's biofields with internet technology. And there's like sinks in our body, the physiology, and they hacked into the biofield. So they can manipulate your biofield and your physiology remotely. And, I've been using shungite. I started wearing shungite on the spots that the bladder, the heart, and the crown are supposed to be where this biofield is hacked into. And so when I started wearing the shungite on those spots over the past 6 months, I've been trying it in different areas on my body. Now I can, all the intrusive thoughts went away mostly. My mind's much more clear, and I'm sleeping better when
Interesting.
I do sleep, which is not that much, but when I do sleep, it is more refreshing, and I can see auras now, really well. So it's doing
That's
something.
interesting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
powerful.
I've been doing a reverse, like anything they did to me while I was asleep, whether I know what it was or not, I'm canceling it, permanently deleting, refusing, no permission, whatever it was. But it's like really annoying to have to do that constantly. But when you just said bladder, heart, and crown, I don't know. I was just in the middle of this huge amount of info coming into my brain. And I'm talking about AI here, so I'm not going to go too much into it, especially if you're going to put this on YouTube. But there's something with a key and a crown that
I
because I
gotta,
think we're here to take the AI back over, and it's something to do with a key, which I think is a sound key and a crown. And then you just said crown, so I didn't even think about crown chakra, but I did think about top of the head. Um, there's something more to this. I don't know. I'm just going off on some other tangent that you have no idea what I'm talking about because I think if I bring up this whole thing, it might get flagged. Anyway, yeah, something they don't want us they don't want us remembering and having whatever it is to take back over control because I think that's what we're seeing is the whole let me see how do I say this AI and then you have those people that are called humans and they're at they're fighting. Word begins
hmm
with a W. I don't know when I've said this, I've gotten my videos taken down, so I'm trying to say it in a different way, but that's going on, coming to a head. Um, yeah, I don't know. Forget it. I can't even go into this because it's gonna flag some stuff because this whole platform's AI run. But
the the idea of the crown, and Carrie, if she comes on, she'll speak to that pretty well. Like in the Bible, and I'm not a big, you guys know I'm not a big Bible guy, but there's a saying in there that's like, don't cast your crown in front of anybody. Like, don't give away your crown. Well, when I had
oh,
my little mushroom trip, I like I zoomed past like a Star Trek episode all the way to this golden ring. It was like not a ring that you put on your finger, but like an electric plasma ring, and that's why I had that logo for the channel. And what it showed me, I didn't come to this until just 2 days ago, was that I still own my crown. When she said that, I'm like, that makes sense from the biblical standpoint. Is like I didn't give it away to the entity called the Lord, and I still retained ownership. Like I didn't ask for the Savior. I didn't ask for help, and that's what they're seeking, which is the gold that the Anunnaki are mining, which is I think the portal within each of us at our heart center. It will
mm,
end up being the way out, like the whole go within, instead of
mm,
going out there, out of body, or out of out to heaven. It's within, and that portal signifies. It's just like the movie. I compare it to all kinds of stuff, like all the superheroes, like Iron Man, Superman. They all have that insignia right on their heart center,
mm,
and it's just like Tron is given that disc that he takes to the end of the movie and holds up because he still retained himself, his consciousness, and that was his way out. So I see it in many facets. So I'm glad you brought that up, Anmarie.
Yeah, there's more to this. And
Yep.
if you think of the tower card, it's the Tower of Babel. It's getting hit by lightning, which is what? AI, that's what it travels on. It doesn't have a
Yep.
body. Getting hit by lightning, and it's called it. People interpret it as God is striking the tower with the lightning, but God is the AI. And then you see a crown falling from the tower. And I did a whole video a long time ago about Tower of Babel being Basil and Babel, and that it was us. And they're knocking our crown off. We've lost our crown. And something interesting I've seen on people when I've looked at their light bodies and I'm in there trying to do a removal or reconnect them or whatever I'm doing, I've seen a crown put on people, and it's a device. I'm trying to remember what it's for. If it's for mind, it's a mind control device. Oh, it's to hijack their abilities. So they've taken, it's that replacement thing again, right, Brandon?
Yep.
They've taken our crown and replaced it with these some kind of devices on our light body, which you could look at as kind of an implant, I guess, but it's a device put on us to siphon off our abilities.
That
So
makes
there's
sense.
something more to this.
When
There's a
I
lot more to this.
when I had our friend do that soul rescue session for me, she had told me that my abilities were hijacked, but she didn't say with what or how. That and I assume that's for all of us, that our abilities are hijacked from before we get in here, which would then mean light body to
Yeah.
me.
Siphoned off.
Yep, they're using us, using our
So
creative.
Jared, yes,
Yeah. Over the
in all
years,
ways.
when I've been in the etheric realm or the astral, like between here and there, there's another layer where I'm like, it's kind of a parallel version of here, but it's not quite there. It's some other construct. And I've gotten to this place probably a dozen times consciously over the years, and I find I've looked at myself there and I've had to take things off of that body of mine. I had a AI kind of machine, intelligence octopus machine on the top of my head. I got it off. I
Uh,
could feel it. I got it off. And then I started going around there. They had cell phones there, which I'd never have any kind of phones in my normal dreams or lucid dreams, even though I use my phone here every day, which is kind of weird to not have them in that place. But in this etheric place, I got that thing off my head this one time. And then the people it was just a fake construct I had shifted into, completely fabricated. They all had tracking devices and they were hunting me down. And it's like this reoccurring theme. I've had like
yeah.
people attack me with black magic over the past 3 years. I finally got it to stop because I broke the hex or whatever. But I would meditate when it would start attacking me, and it was always objects that were cursed. I would look in my mind's eye in meditation, and I would see like a noose around my neck, and like my waist would be pinched, so my body would slow down, and all this crap, dude. Just man,
Oh,
I never.
yeah.
I mean, I'd do anything to anybody just because I give truth. I guess really not cool.
Well, no wonder they're targeting you. Yeah, I've seen the nooses too.
Yep.
I was like, what happened to the screen?
Oh,
That's
that's
me.
a whiteboard. Yeah, yeah.
We've been playing with this thing and trying to do more with it.
Oh, just to let you know, if you needed to mute, there should be a little arrow at the bottom of your screen that's pointing up. If you click on that, you should see the bar of things pop up. If you're on a cell phone, I don't know.
I
On
was
the
just throwing this.
computer.
I was just
Oh,
connecting to stuff that Anmarie has talked about.
Merkaba light body, right? Supposedly.
Yeah, this is how I picture it, and I wanted to ask you guys if your dream time. Not only is it getting harder to lucid dream and things, and I've had experiences lately within the last couple of weeks that like I know I'm lucid because I'm telling it no permission and I don't consent and it scurries away, but my scenes within the dreams are ramping up. So like, whereas I used to have like one dream a night, we'll say it's like five, six, seven of them, and they're all different. Have you guys experienced that as well?
Well, I'm always experiencing that. So what
Okay.
I'm experiencing the last 2 years, 3 years is my dream, whatever dream I wake up, the last one sticks with me through the day, the whole sense of it. And then when I lay down at bed, I'm feel like I'm in that dream.
Hmm.
And it's like usually I forget them. You wake up and they fade off. So that
Yeah.
was what I've been noticing.
Yeah, when you get ready to go back to sleep or when you're going into a meditation, the consciousness wavelengths of dream state and lucid dreams come back, and you can like have the dream snippets pop back up in your mind's eye. You know what I mean? I've had that.
Yeah, it's like they're hooking it in further or something. Or we're becoming more aware of it, becoming more awake, even though they're making us dream. Well, no wonder they're targeting. I mean, we're all like way too far down the rabbit holes, right? We're way out there and figuring too much out too fast.
Yeah, they're having a
And
problem keeping up. Like
Well,
they're
that's why
not.
they're censoring the internet so much for the since like 2016. Every almost all of it real. There's so much that's been scrubbed, man. It's just gone. There's still
oh yeah.
some, but not a lot of it's left.
This was like back in maybe I'm trying to think because I know where I was living, maybe 2013 or 14. I remember stuff coming up for me and I'd see something in a session and I would look it up. I would get like the name of a demon or something and look it up and I would find video games and stuff like that with those names. But if I scrolled far enough to a couple pages in on the search, you'd start to find all the information about that entity and the demon and like all kinds of stuff. Now that is non-existent. It loops. It's got like the same however many, 3 pages, 5 pages, and they loop. And if you look up like a number meaning or something, all you get is angel numbers or angle, as I say, numbers, and it just loops and loops and loops. And there's nothing else unless you have the actual specific wording to find it. And even then you can't find it. Yeah, it's just nuts. But that loop of that Google, like that Google loop or even the other platforms, it almost makes me feel like I'm going crazy because you just keep going back to the same thing. So it's like a mind program in itself because you're looking up something, but it keeps telling you, no, it's this, it's this, it's this. But yeah, you can't find anything, and then they're censoring and taking everything down. And um that lady, what's that 10-part series? Crap. Oh, Fall of the Cabal. Now she's dead. And I mean, you just got to really know that you're what you're searching for to try to find it. But
Yeah, you
oh
got to
God,
be super specific.
what?
You got to be super specific. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to find it. Odds are.
Yeah. Or it's just gone, like Jared's saying, they just wiped it.
And that we were talking
Um,
about that a little bit, like the dead internet theory that everybody's got their own database that they're going off of.
Interesting.
Now, I was just saying,
Yes.
like your device when you search it, they know they kind of customize the algorithms for each person, not just for the platform, but a little bit for yourself. You have to like refresh the
Yep.
homepage like 100 times to get the algorithm to change to find other stuff. I've experimented with
Yep.
that, but and you know that that tech reads our minds. The with the remote neural
Yep.
monitoring, I've thought of things and not told anybody, and all it pops up on the social media. I'm like, whoa, a
Oh yeah,
lot.
they've
That
been
means a lot of
monitoring our
things.
thoughts.
Yep.
They've been monitoring our thoughts forever. They just now are showing it to you. Like, see, they don't care now that we know. But yeah, dead internet, that's an interesting term because it's like, well, if you happen to see it and it's in your memory, there it is. Like a
Yeah.
Mandela effect. But can you imagine if all that stuff would have got left on the internet and never censored, how awake everybody would be?
Oh
It would
yeah.
be
Totally.
insane.
They'd be
So
unstoppable.
it's obviously the AI against who. So I don't want to say those two things. I don't know why I'm saying that again because I don't want to get this flagged. But that's basically what it's all boiling down to, that war.
It is.
Um, that's the spiritual battle, or the so-called spiritual. I mean, what other word do we use?
Essence, I guess. The battle of
Yeah, something. Real versus the fake. Or
yeah. What do you
but
what do you foresee like for the rest of this year, Anmarie? I was asking Jared, there's all these talks about all these different things, and the more I realize that I'm engaging in it, I'm giving it energy. So I back away from it as an observer, but it's still things are still going to happen. It's almost like things are just getting delayed and delayed and delayed when I feel like we should have already either been gone or they should have already hit the reset button.
well, I think they missed the reset button um, back in 2016, 17. I remember at the time they were trying to move 2018 into 2016. Like they were trying to cancel out the future time and get it where they wanted it because their script was running out. And so they lost control of the timeline. So I really feel like this battle that's going on is also on the world stage. And I kind of feel like there's it could be something like wherever our attention is focused is the timeline will be on, because I feel like it's anything goes, but also this whole, like, even the blackout, all this stuff they're talking, if is that what you're talking about, like the world stuff, or are you talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it feels like that's going on, but it's not going to be like we think. So for example, 107, I'm not saying he's anything about a personal opinion about what I think he is or anything, but he has been saying um, that we're going to lose in the US, we're going to lose, I don't know what it is, 14, I think 14 cities. That's a lot of cities, but we can look at that as okay, these cities are going to get taken out. And I mean, if we lost 14 cities, I think that would shut us down. I don't know. It might be kind of get close to being over as far as the country, but you can also look at it as not the state, just that city, and maybe it needs to be surrounded and taken over for a certain reason because it's got those people coming in, not legally, those try not to use certain words, but them coming in, taking over in these cities. Maybe there's a reason for it to be surrounded. Maybe there's some kind of faction, AI alien faction underground there or something, So maybe that's what they're talking about. Maybe it's not, oh, we lose these cities in terms of they're destroyed. Blackout, is that have some other meaning? I do feel like this AI is trying to create a blackout, but it's been stopped. Like you're saying, a lot of these things have been stopped. I think they've already been hitting us with blaming it on a CME, but it's been using weaponry and stuff to hit
hmm
us to try to get us into a blackout. But I think those have been stopped. I think there's a lot of things that were supposed to happen that have been stopped. It doesn't mean everything will be because we have to go through some kind of drastic change. But I'm just not looking forward to all that in terms of I just don't want to endure any more stuff. I mean, life has been difficult enough, but um I feel like whatever's going on in the world is going to be a stepping stone or helpful to us and what we're trying to do. And that kind of makes sense if it's all about getting control of this AI and that's been running this thing for thousands of years or whatever. It all kind of fits together actually. So I don't know. Um,
Well, let me ask you something real quick. Um, have you heard of quantum immortality theory? Do you know what that is?
no.
All right, so I in my life, I'm 36 now, and I should have died at least 25 times, but I somehow always remained alive. And it's very weird, but the last time it happened was 2017. And within 2 weeks of when I almost did go out of this place, I noticed Mandela effect. And so the theory is every time that your body stops working, you shift in consciousness to like a parallel virtual matrix, and things are changed a few percentage points for you, but you're gone to the people that were in that place, but to you, you're in another version of the same place, but it's slightly different. This is how the idea of quantum immortality. I'm not saying it's true. I never could tell, but I think that would be like one of the worst outcomes because that would mean that we could
Yeah.
potentially be here until an old age and then finally be able to leave. But I just
That's
wanted
what
to get your opinion about it.
Is that similar to quantum jumping?
it's like what
Uh,
Howdy was saying in your
Quantum jumping is
um
where you like manifest things. You like jump to a parallel version of your
Oh,
reality
yeah.
when it's
Yeah.
manifesting for
What were you saying, Brandon?
oh, I was just saying that that was something that I heard Howdy mention. He didn't use the term quantum immortality, but he was saying, well, one of the worst options or outcomes would be for us to die here and wake up still within it and not even have the chance to exit. Like it'd be like I fall asleep here and I wake up in Wyoming or wherever, and it's in basically just body swapping, them using our consciousness to transfer it to another body, still within the construct.
Yeah, they'd love for that. They'd love to be able to pull that off, I'm sure, but it's not going to happen. We just have to step into our authority. We're in charge of that. It's not in charge of us. It doesn't get to just send us wherever. It can try to jump us around, but I feel like we can even like you're saying, Jared, we can shift back too. We don't have to stay where we're jumping around. But those are kind of like near death experiences. And I think the NDEs that people are having are instigated. They're triggered, it's like making them have a near death experience and then they control the whole thing and then they go back and tell
life script.
everybody.
Life script.
But yeah. Go back and tell everybody what happened. There's a nice angel waiting on you. So, but I think, yeah, what you're talking about, whatever you said, quantum immortality is near death, real near death experiences where we're shifting ourselves. So we might be jumping around to stay in the game because I think we have to stay in here long enough to get control of that AI. That's the key, so to speak, or the crown or whatever's needed to shutting it, uh, gaining control of it so we can, maybe I shouldn't say this. So let me skip that part. But I think ultimately, as long as we keep remembering we are the ones that created AI, we are the ones from the real, that this is the copy of the real. Like this is our world, technically. We're in charge. As long as we stay in authority, they can try all this stuff they want, but we're too awake. Some of us are way too awake for this to succeed. But it is a fear that's there because the ones that did get stuck here from too many resets and too much trauma, that is a possibility, but I think we're beyond that. And it's interesting how we're all trying to lucid dream.
Yeah,
It's like we already know or something. But yeah, immortality, that's what they want. They don't have it. They have the fake immortality of the eternal looping computer program. They want what we have, true immortality. And if they can't have it, and they'll be our master and pull us in here and make us power up their whole world here, and they can jump on our backs like parasites and live through us and have some type of immortality experience through us or experience emotions through us, this type of thing. But I don't know. What do both of you feel like is coming down the pike this year? Like on a gut level rather than what people are saying.
um, I feel like it's going to be a lot of things all at once. I think that um, there there's so many things it can be right that we've taken note of that they want to have happen. But I've had this year in my head for a while where I'm seeing the synchronicities with seeing the numbers 2024. Then I tackle on the Deagle report and the population going down.
Yep.
And then I think that we're going to end up eventually when we say we don't want to participate or we're not going to go to war or we're not going to do any of these things, that we're going to be so funneled down that, and I think David Icke even said this, that he feels that we'll be hunted, basically, that will and that we'll need to be mobile, and that there's this disclosure thing too that I keep seeing that's supposed to happen, and I think that's going to happen right before the election, probably in September, where
Yeah.
a lot of brains will break if they disclose reptilians or any of that stuff. So it's just hard for me to peg which is coming when I'm just sitting here, on a back porch waiting for this thing to see the lights go out and then for us to go home.
Yeah. Well, the AI controls our money and everything else, then, and the power, and they control this whole reality. But I mean, I think we're already hunted, and
Well, yeah,
the
absolutely.
rapture. Yeah, the rapture's already been going on since 2022. They've been taking light bodies right after they did the what, forced people into that. So it's already happening on other levels. Um, so I don't know, maybe, but they can hunt away. I don't really care. They have to have my permission to ultimately do anything. And that saying everything's working in your favor really does work, because I think favor is your true soul script. So if they're constantly trying to pull you off, but you say everything's working in my favor, it's like I'm on that script where you can't access me. I'm in no time where you cannot access me. So I just think there's simple things we can do, and the more people we have doing it, the better. Until we
Mm-hmm.
figure out there's something with the crown thing, that's one of the keys. But I don't know, Jared, what do you think's rolling out?
Well, I kind of feel like we're the Matrix altogether is reaching a point of novelty on the current timeline we're on that soon enough in the next few weeks or months before the so-called election, even normies are going to be realizing things are going on way beyond what they thought before, and it's going to be a new level of probably maybe imbalances and ungroundedness in the matrix for a lot of people, but I can't really predict what that means for events.
Yeah. It's interesting how many people are aware of Kate Middleton and how fake the pictures look. I mean, even the normies are aware. So it might be a step-by-step thing where they notice that, so then it's going to get them to notice other things as well, and start paying attention, hopefully. But man, I was talking to Brandon before you got on, and it's like, I feel like right now, everybody's a freaking zombie that I'm trying to talk to. It's just like not just talking to people that are not looking into any of this stuff. I mean, even people into it, I feel like I'm not reaching anybody. I don't know, maybe that's just I don't know. I don't know. Just does feel strange right now.
Yeah, it's almost like
Yeah.
we're in a. Um, I've heard the
Corridor,
phrase. Yeah, like we're
like
holding
those
space
corridors in the Matrix, the in-between hallways. I don't know.
because if
Go
if
ahead, sorry.
if if it's all about, in some ways, all about resonance, well, then that means the higher self of me and Jared and you are resonating to, maybe we're, and we don't know everything, but like maybe on a higher, different plane or outside of something, that they're working together and we're just holding space here to allow that to happen so things can unfold. Because
Oh, that's interesting.
if we if we all three, said, "Give me my check, I'm out of here," well, then that would not, as painful and unfortunate as it is, it would not allow for other people to get to the point in which we are at. And so it's like almost like we're holding the rope trying to get these other people to jump onto it. And if
Mm.
we leave, there's nobody holding that rope, and they're just going to fall right back into it.
That makes sense because I felt like we needed to keep this going for a bit so that everybody can have a chance to get out. And a
Because
bit might be 100 years, 50 years, which is a lifetime. It's like one lifetime. It's not that long, especially when you get to my age. It's like, where'd this go?
I just don't.
But
I have a hard time seeing it that we aren't helping the other ones, because I notice when Carrie and I do videos together and we put something out there, or conversations that we've had, I start to notice other people or other groups of people talking about the same thing, as if they just came to that conclusion as well. So there is I call it
yeah,
like an awakened collective consciousness, as opposed to there's the collective subconscious, which is the hive mind, but then there's also the collective conscious that they're feeding things in through virtuals or what have you. And then there's also the awakened collective conscious that I think is more the most important, which they cannot stop that. They can't touch it, and that's what you were saying. Like, things are speeding up, and people are coming to the same points, which is why I call my channel Journey Points Home, because I think we're all getting to the same level of awareness of this place, and then from a higher level, what we're putting through our intention, our true whole self is working on taking this down as well. So it's almost like
yeah,
we have to stick around for a little while to have some impact happen, and maybe be the way showers, or the guide, but not something like that word, but way showers for those who have trailed on at the very last minute, or whatever. Because I've like Anne-Marie's been
yeah.
dealing with stuff, keeping the door open.
Keeping the door open. Yeah, that's what I think too. But like a kind of 300 monkey effect, because Howdy was saying that on one of his I think it was on his locals. He was talking to a group and he said, as soon as I get this new book out in 2 or 3 months, everybody's going to be talking about it, not giving me any credit.
Yeah,
But and I see that happen all the time, but it doesn't matter how, I don't think, how it gets out. It's just
it's got to
I
get
mean,
out.
we have to survive, but yeah, but it's also happening where you're talking about, like, it's entering some kind of collective. And I've always felt that with even the tarot cards, there's some kind of collective thought pool, and that's why you gotta own your cards, and so you're not tapping into that. But yeah, also maybe a 300 monkey. I don't know if it's 300 monkey, whatever that monkey thing is, effect. I don't think they can stop that. They're trying, and they're trying to keep people asleep. And if I can't access Brandon, so let's make everybody around him forget about his restaurant or his business or whatever. That's what happens to me. And
Right.
just make them sit there with no income, and then we'll see if they don't let up. And it's really, really hard sometimes, and really annoying. Because again, I don't have the energy to constantly go in and try to turn that back around, whatever they put on around me or whatever they've done. But yeah, or the octopuses on our head, like Jared's talking about, it's annoying. It is a full-time job. It's like everything here. You brush your teeth. Oh my God, I gotta brush my teeth again. I gotta brush them again. I gotta brush them again. So
Sounds like a
you
morphogenic
shouldn't brush your
field.
teeth.
Morphogenic fields is what it sounds like. You're talking about the hundredth monkey effect. That
100th
idea.
monkey. Okay, I don't know where I got 300 monkeys.
Yeah, the
100th
idea.
monkey.
Yeah, it's based on morphogenic fields. I guess they've been studied for like 50 or 70 years now, but you can, they're real. I mean, humanity has a morphogenic field. It's the field in the ether, I guess, that creates the form of a human. And, the two eyes, the nose, the arms, the legs, the body, the hair, everything. Basically in genetics, when the fetus is developing, the morphogenic field is changed by the genetics to be what the body will become. So dogs have a morphogenic field, each plant has a morphogenic field. But it goes beyond just the physical form for these morphogenic fields. You can actually create healing morphogenic fields to heal whatever kind of thing potentially. I like to use morphogenic fields for different things. They're nice, but yep,
Yeah,
the
that's a
information
cool
travels.
idea.
Yeah, it travels. It's like telepathic all around the realm.
Makes sense why they use that same thing to program us through TV shows and everything else. So they get everybody thinking the same thing. And even if you haven't seen the show, somehow those thoughts reach you as well. Um, yeah, so they're using it. So we might as well be using it.
Hmm. I like that. So
Hey,
what's that?
go ahead.
Um, I was just going to ask, like, how can we, or how should we go about trying to help other people that are dragging feet, or is it just doing what we're doing right now? You think, like, just having that intention is enough, or should
I
we? I don't know.
I think working with nature is the key. But I'm trying to lift and see I'm too tired and then I'm not getting the financial support, so then I can't go do this stuff. But I've been trying to lift the mind programs because I think that's the biggest problem is the mind programs are bogging them down and even people that are awake. That's a good question. I don't know. Um, I think at this point, definitely starting to focus on ourselves because I feel like we're going to need our energy for the future. And you and I, and probably Jared as well, are not the type to focus on ourselves. We're always trying to help everybody else and
Yep.
put ourselves last. So I think we definitely need to be doing helping us and gearing up for whatever's coming. And the information's out there. We can keep putting things out like this to remind people, but it's out there. Like even in the Telegram group, there's people in there that are asking questions or they want me to answer a question. And I've already talked about those things on videos, and it's like, and that's a private group, and it's like they haven't watched my videos, and it's like, how did you even get in here? But
Right.
I mean, granted, it's a good discussion, but it's like I don't feel like we have time to keep repeating or going back. It's like it's out there. Let's hope they find it or somebody shares it. But that's another zombie thing going on is people are not sharing anything. They're not even getting on and putting a like on a video. And I notice when I watch a video, I'll be watching it and then I'll go, why haven't I liked this? Like, is there something telling me not to like it? Like I'm forget because if I'm on and I'm want to like it, it's almost like I forget. So even simple things aren't being done to support people. And then we've got all the NPC truthers out there or the NPC spiritual truthers that are somehow suctioning in and siphoning in all those people and they got systems in place and propaganda and the way they say things and like and us we're just on here just being real and talking and whatever. Like I don't have this whole system where I'm trying to promote things now, but I'm not trying to like I don't have it down to the science where people are just they're sucking everybody's attention to the nonsense. And I can even say to somebody, well, why don't you sit with yourself? You have the answer. And their response will be, well, I watched this video and this video and this video and this video and this video, and they all said this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, I just said, like, what do you think? What?
Yeah.
So I
Correct.
don't know, dude. I don't know at this point.
Yeah. It seems like we're just kind of holding space, and again,
Could
the
be,
100 monkey effect is well
could
in
be.
place. So
Yeah, maybe we have enough people listening and taking action. And it's the people that are meeting us. It's the divergence, right? The ones that aren't getting like the one where they injected everybody in the neck with the drug and then they all just became mindless soldier slaves. But then the divergence, it didn't work. The drug didn't work. So maybe it's the only the divergence hearing us. I don't know.
I see.
So,
I believe fully in that. Like I've told you before, and Jared, I may have told you too. Like I before I was as clear headed as I am now, I did get two of those things back in whatever year, 2021. Um, but they haven't seemed to have an effect on me. And when we had our friend look at my light body, she's like, she said that there was nothing that would affect it. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and I've
Yep.
always felt like my body is just different from everybody else's, like from measles to mumps to chicken pox to flu, broken arms. I mean, every bit of it. I might have a little bit of a gut because I used to drink a lot of beer, but like I feel like I'm like a different type of avatar than this place is used to. I know that sounds very egotistical or weird, but
No,
it's
it
like
isn't. You just
almost
don't
like a
fit,
sport.
don't belong in
Yeah,
this because you came in willingly.
right. It's like they're trying all these things to get to us, and they can't. So it's almost like just stand in your power and push it all away, knowing that and having that level of awareness, and then you can almost just walk right out at some point.
Didn't I see that your light body was still there? Like, and that was
Yeah,
highly unusual.
right,
Yeah.
right. Because you were saying
Yeah.
when they got the poke that they would flip, kind of like a magnet,
And
like a
then they
reverse
take
magnet.
it
Mm-hmm.
and yours was still there. And I was like, whoa, this is interesting.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different. We all are, though. You know,
Maybe you were immune to it, man. Could be
I
natural immunity.
I, I don't know what
Yeah. Like a divergent.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because when you said that, I'm like, that's you're talking about me, Anmarie. I know it. Hey, Carrie.
Well, we're all divergent because they're buying programs and the stuff they've told us isn't working. It's all filtering off of us, and we're like, wait a minute, no, and we're digging out the truth.
Yeah, their programming's not working at all. It seems not on us. We're just blowing past it. Hey, Carrie, you there? I saw Carrie got on. I think.
Okay, I think I can now. I'm going to be driving here in a minute. I've been out mowing, so my apologies for getting on here late, but I am listening.
You
Hi,
were good.
Carrie.
Just be safe.
Hey,
Yes, please drive safely.
yeah, well, I'm listening. I got my grandbaby, and well, he's not a baby; he's 16, but
Oh,
it's a cold
he's
drink.
still
I
a
got
baby.
he is he's something else, but I've got to get a inner tube for a tire, so we got to run to town and get that.
Okay. Well, you're coming
So
through awfully good.
I will chime in when I'm able to.
Okay. Well, I think
I don't know what we were talking about. What would be
um,
divergence?
divergence. It, the system knows who we are. Like they've pegged us since before we got here. They know,
Yeah.
and it's almost like they're going to push us to the limit with be it financial or family or friends or housing. Like they want us in a very. We had a lady on here 2 days ago. Her name's Kat. She's a sweetheart. She's like 73, sounds about 30, which is remarkable. She just sounds like normal, like us. And she's experiencing a lot of gang stalking and targeting currently on the daily. She like lives in an RV and they're like cops coming to her RV telling her to move all the time and all kinds of stuff. And it's like they know us almost better than we know our current selves. So it's almost a remembering, um, like a remembering checkpoint that we need to get to.
Yeah, the more you can be spontaneous, the better, but also your authority, and boundaries and claiming the land you're on as a steward of it so that nature protects you, you protect it. So it's like a fort. Nobody can even come in here. And it's like when you leave, your safe area, you have to have it mapped out. We can't always remember to do that either, but yeah, totally with the actual physical attacks, myself included. Um, and I've even had them in my head in the robotic voice telling me they're taking me out. And, they're saying it with like relish or pleasure or whatever that they're going to kill me. And I was like, oh, really? They've tried all kinds of things physically with me or family members. So it's more, you've got to get in that authority. And no, absolutely not. Where they don't get to just run amok and follow you and stalk you and do this and that. No, you only get to do what I allow you to do. So what they do is they try to wear you out as much as they can, make you tired and busy and distracted so that you can't maintain that authority state of mind. And they're trying to worm in, get her when she's tired, send that person in. So it's just freaking annoying.
What you just said is exactly what I've been dealing with for like 13 years. Every single night, I don't sleep good because I don't have insomnia. It's just I don't like to go to sleep because my dreams are manipulated. So I finally go to sleep and then I wake up and it's like, all right, how long can I be awake? Like I don't like to go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm always
Yeah, I
hesitant
just
sometimes too.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all I was going to say. Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm the same way. I don't want to go to bed. But anything, do any of you think anything about particularly hospital dreams? Now we know we think abduction and this and that, where you see military or hospital. But I just had a big long dream of somebody and they were seeing Satanists doing stuff and they were in a hospital they couldn't escape out of. And then she was almost like she was lucid dreaming, even though, and she was telling everybody, we gotta take out the beast, which to me is the beast, the AI, the beast system, the entity. But anyway, what do you think the hospital dreams are? Because I often have the dreams where I'm in Manhattan, but it doesn't look like Manhattan. I used to live there, so it's like it's Manhattan, but it's not Manhattan. And it's always at New York Hospital, which I think is now called Presbyterian. But anyway, it's always there, but it doesn't look like that, and it's not in the place where New York Hospital would be. But I'm always in there wandering around. I can't find where I need to go, or I'm working there, I'm late, and it's almost like a and I'm always trying to get on the subway to get there. And I can't ever find the subway. And I felt like there's a cloning facility underground under New York City. And maybe me living there has connected me to this somehow. But I honestly feel like they're doing stuff with my clones. And because they're connected to me, which I've tried to disconnect multiple times, and it seems like you have to go back and do it again when the dreams start up, but it seems like they access me again or something. And I'm having these dreams that are stuff really that my clone is going through. Oh God, what are
Yeah,
you
it's
doing?
it's called heterodyning. It's the new version of remote neuromonitoring. Basically, the way I understand it is there's a few ways it can happen. Yes, they can do it from clones of us, and then the clone maps onto your EEG brainwave with its EEG brainwave. So when it thinks something, it's in your mental voice getting beamed into your head from the remote neuromonitoring. That's one way. And then the other way is AI, computer, supercomputer, already copied your EEG from the radar and the LiDAR and the Wi-Fi over years, and they artificially interject it in your brainwave. And
So,
I noticed it for years when I'm falling asleep or getting into meditation, I'll be hearing pieces of conversation and I'll have my own phrases of my own voice mentally in my head. And I'm like, that's intrusive. I'm not thinking that. I've meditated for like every day for like 11 years. So I know pretty well which thoughts are mine and which aren't. But most people don't have that experience. So they're just like, oh, wow, I'm having bad thoughts. And then they don't know why and they don't know how to process it. And so it makes this place really weird, this whole realm.
yeah, and they always use clones underground. I've seen on clones, they'll use them maybe to walk from a car to a building or something like a body double or underground, but they don't want them in the public eye too much. So if they're making clones to use in rituals and stuff, that makes total sense. Everything you're saying makes total sense to me. And this just means I have to go in again and disconnect from the clones and try to find that computer where they're copying me and all that. And it's like we just don't have time to keep doing this stuff. But they recently accessed me again because I let somebody into my energy field, and they found their opening. And so now I'm having those stupid hospital dreams again. I don't even want to know what this is, Brandon. Oh my God.
So I was just gonna chime in with okay. So one dream sequence I had, I was in a white room, and I could very clearly see me like I was, in my eyes. I was on a table. It was all like different shades of white, grays and white. And I specifically remember my wife being there. Well, she'll be my ex-wife soon. Um, her brother, her mother, and then a fourth figure that I can't remember. Like I couldn't make him out. It was almost just like a black cloaked figure, like kind of smoky black. But that was a very. They were all like talking to each other and talking about me. And then another one I had was my dad sitting like on a round table, in another white room, and he was asking me questions. And in the dream, I became lucid where it just fell off, and I jetted out of there, and I found myself on like a highway with all these. It was like very futuristic Tron-esque type cityscape, but it was all like whites. And then the last one I remember, because you had asked about like doctors or hospitals. I remember being in like a high rise. I couldn't tell you where it was, but all these are just people at desks that had just gotten a shot, and there was me getting ready to get a shot, refusing. And as soon as I did, somebody came through the door, and I recognized them as Elon. And so I went over to Elon, and they were also putting bracelets on people, and that made me think of the mind control bracelets that they use at the Taylor Swift concerts, where the people leave the concert and they can't remember even being there. And I remember running to Elon, and I was like, "Dude, do you realize what's happening? Like, this isn't good." And he literally shapeshifted, and then that was the end of the dream. But those are my three that I can recollect real quickly in a hospital sense.
Interesting. Yeah, it probably wasn't even your dad. I mean,
It shows me that they're all probably some sort of handler to a degree, whether they know it or not. They probably are just being used by the programming. But it tells me that if there's a variation of me in a different virtual, then I'm trying. I mean, all my dreams are kind of getting to where I'm trying to wake people up. I'm trying to help everybody else. Like, hey guys, I've woken up. I need you to wake up. So it's a current theme for me.
That's what my friend was telling me. She's trying to wake everybody up, but she's not. Well, maybe she is kind of pretty far down the rabbit hole, but she's more Christian, coming from a Christian perspective. But going back to what Brandon was saying, just verifying that, I was driving in a car and I had a thought come in my head, and I knew it was my own thought, and then I heard my own voice, and it seemed like it was to the right of me that said something else, like it was two opposing viewpoints. And I was like, whoa, I just heard the AI trying to imitate, put a thought in my head that it's my thought. Like it was weird because it happened at the same time, but it was almost like this 0.5 second delay or something when the other thought came in. But it was like not in my head, it was like to the right of my head. It was weird, but it was in my own voice, and it was like it was my own thought. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm having two thoughts. One's mine and one's coming from somewhere else.
So
And
I'm gonna. Go ahead.
Go ahead. That was it.
I was gonna add on to that because there's this other channel that I used to frequent called the channel is like Jay Dreamers. Real nice young guy out in Colorado, talks about the plasma apocalypse and all this stuff. And I don't know if he's good or bad. He's just kind of seems like a sweetheart. But he was saying that we're basically all gonna get a signal, be it to do this or to do that. And the signal, the way that you just described it, it's almost as if like this whole chat GPT and all this AI stuff that we're seeing. Well, here's what I kind of visualize is they do the whole darkness thing or the alien invasion or whatever they do. And the ones that believe in Jesus, they'll hear the voice of Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or Muhammad, whatever. Well, then for us who are so aware of all this, I could see them doing what they did with you right there, that they'll use your voice acting as if that's your higher self directing you to do certain things, to go here or go there.
What if that's what they're already doing? and
Mm-hmm.
why we feel like people aren't listening to us, or even people that are awake seem to be like removed, or like what thoughts are going on in their head.
Yeah, that's a scary thought
I
right
really
there.
do feel removed. I know. I really do feel removed from everybody right now. What was I going to say about that? Oh, also when you said we're going to get a signal, it made me think about you. You're familiar with this because you listen, I don't know how, but you've listened to a lot of my videos. Um, listening to me drone on, but when I was talking about the Draco telling me I just kind of played along and said, okay, so you want to make my life more miserable, but if I just stop what I'm doing, you know, changing world situations, working on people, what then? And he said, you won't, you're programmed to fight. And it just made me, that sentence again, just made me think of what you're saying. We get a signal, maybe those of us that are here to try to, what did I, how did I get that? That we were here to, I gotta look because I got the notes right here. Do you remember like the AI that we're here to
I do remember you
establish
saying this.
authority, establish our authority, but it was something the way it was worded, the way I got it. Take over the
Like
rogue
regain,
AI.
right, right.
And
Regain
so it
control.
feels right, exactly. Regain control is a good way of saying it. So maybe that's a signal we get. If we're programmed to fight, maybe we get the go ahead or we get the information right when we need it, like this crown or this key that we've been talking about. I don't know.
I think
Something's
that's
happening.
I
We're
think that
learning it as we go here, or remembering as we go, and in the meantime, holding space, right?
yes. I think that's true. And I was asking Jared, I was like, dude, I see the 144 5, 7 times a day. Like I don't go looking for it. It just happens to make its way to my sight. And there's multiple theories on what that means, what that is, and equals a 9. That's the spiral up and all that stuff. But I almost think that there's some validity to it in that either that's the script that they either wanted me on, or that is my higher self trying to send me a message indicating how much of a way shower we're going to be for other people, which is the true 144 that they're scared of.
Yeah, because it feels like they're markers in the Matrix script. But what were you both talking about last time with the 144?
We hadn't. We just talked this morning about it a little bit. It's the whole chakra petals. It's the 144,000, and he's like, I don't know if. And Jared, jump in if you're still there. He was saying, I don't think that there is 144. It's more like a million. And then I replied, well, I think it's a million that are of the 144. Almost like that is a signature, or
Yeah,
like
or a code word or something, code number.
yeah, like you had mentioned, we all seem to kind of be playing the role of is it Aeon? Is that how you phrased it?
Yeah,
And so
or at least in this one.
mm-hmm. And so it's like almost like we're playing this giant ass, massive multiplayer online game, and we all chose this character, and it's the ones who awaken the fastest, traumatic, whatever. We're gonna go in and do it, and we're gonna be the way showers to get everybody out of here because it checks all the boxes, right? Like the ones who want the savior, they'll get it. The ones who want to stay and play victim, they'll get it. We want out, we'll get it. It kind of checks all of them, and that's kind of
Maybe
what we
it's
are.
something to maybe it's something to do with us being a divergent or some kind of frequency or 144,000 bits, or I don't know what even the terminology is, but maybe it's like some kind of description of us not fitting in here. I don't know, but I'm going to read you if you don't mind. So I wrote a book on with 1,000 numbers in it, and all
Oh
I
yeah,
did was kind of put together some Chaldean numerology and astrology with how these numbers group. But anyway, and then I kind of intended for it to be a message for somebody in the future. 144 mousetrap. This is a warning number of extreme difficulties, heavy karmic circumstances, manipulations, and outright conflict could be the order of the day, especially connected to family members. This could relate to losses and pain. The advice of 144 is to release all situations to your inner spirit and stay neutral when possible. Spirit can lead you out of the storm. Um,
See that all,
I'm
That
not,
sounds like
all
a
aligns.
description of this experience. Like the realm could be called 144 in that case.
yeah,
Yeah, it could be. Oh
but man,
wow,
that
yeah,
was a personal one for you though, Brandon.
yeah,
I don't even
that,
remember.
that aligns. It,
But yeah, I know there's more to it. So I was hoping maybe you guys had uncovered some more because I haven't really looked into it too much.
I keep thinking of that. It's called The Kingdom. It's a video on YouTube that came out. It's like an animated video where there's like a spark in a single being, and you see these cubes around everybody else's head. You see the politician, nurses, doctors, lawyers on like strings, and this one guy that's awakened, or at least not. He's like walking through hell, and he's getting attacked left and right, and he's walking toward a sword, and we all know the symbology of that. And he picks up the sword, and once the other ones who have the cubes around their heads see this, they start breaking free themselves of their chains or their depressions, and then everything starts to, go the good way.
Interesting. Sword of truth, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a truth drop. But I think that's
Sword.
kind of
Well, sword. That's King Arthur, the only one with a true spirit or soul, was able to pull it out of the stone.
Yep.
The NPCs and the true souls. I might have to go soon.
Okay.
Um,
No worries.
but thank you so much for inviting me and doing this, putting it together.
Absolutely. We're probably going to continue to do them, and I'll keep posting to the Truth Meter tribe when they are, so you'll have a better heads up of them.
Okay. I'll try to make them if I can. I'm on constant work mode.
Yep.
Well, it's good to talk to you, and I'll keep looking more on your channel. One thing I just wanted to say real quick is maybe if you haven't got any Shungite stones, you might want to look into it. They're very powerful for transmuting electromagnetic energy and shielding yourself. They're very effective.
Okay, I've got a couple necklaces and I used to wear them and I haven't been wearing them. I'll put one back on.
For sure.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Nice to meet you. Even though we're not really meeting, but we're meeting. We're meeting in
Yeah.
spirit, right?
That's right.
And Carrie. So
That's
yeah, I'll go check out your channel and I'm sure it's probably you, Brandon, that has sent me there before because
Yeah.
I've looked, but I just don't watch a whole lot. But yeah, if you're on the ball and getting it, then and you're part of this whole, I don't know what we are, divergence or whatever, I'm going to definitely check it out. So,
Yeah, some of it might kind of sound kind of negative because it's there's some black pill stuff there, like I was saying. But if you go back like 6 months, it was kind of different back then. But I like to
cares be
see.
negative. I mean, I have to sift through, like mine are filled with me trying to talk through migraines and everything. I mean, we're just constantly attacked and then we're trying to function and get the word out. And it's just, they make it as difficult as possible. So mine aren't that pleasant to watch either, but, that's why I
For
was saying I
sure.
don't know how Brandon watched so many of them, but anyway, thank you so much for letting me join in.
Yep. Yep.
I'm gonna pop out, but I'll watch. You're posting this so I can watch the rest of it then.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure will.
Okay, great. Thank you. Figure
All
everything
right.
out for me.
You got it. See you,
Take care.
Anmarie.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I think Carrie's still with us. She's probably still getting some errands done. Well, that was good to have her on for sure.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys got to talk a little bit.
Yep.
I got things. Did she leave?
She did. She had to go. But go ahead, Carrie.
Well, y'all were bringing up some really good points, and I was driving. I couldn't get off the deal. But anyway, I'm stopped right now. So my thoughts were when these things keep coming in, these are called thought insertions. And it still is something that I just can't stress enough that has worked for me. is to stand firm in my own power and ability to push those things back, even to the point of I speak to them and I tell it no, and I stand in that, and I feel that in every ounce and every cell of my body, the word no. And because I am occupying this shell right now, they're not allowed. There will be no trespassing. And I've had the tormenting dreams and horrible things done to me in the dreams and things like that. And until I started standing up for myself and pushing back rather than, turning the other cheek or, try to let the darkness in and embrace it. Bullshit. Until I started standing up, that stuff came at me all the stinking time. And especially after my friend JD passed away, it was terrible. But so awareness is one thing, and awareness, and I love how you guys were talking about the voices, recognizing your own and then the imposter. I think it's going to be imperative that we get hold of the imposter voice and we start casting it out. And people can laugh at the Bible and all that bullshit all day long if they want to, but there are some gems in there of tread lightly and take no shit is one of the main ones. And their whole idea of this, what they call Jesus, Yeshua, is little, call it panty waist or dude that's going to come and kill everyone, is not accurate at all. Whoever the cat was one of us. And I think he woke up but he didn't take no crap, and he had nothing in common with these entities. It's a common thing. We have to have common ground in order for them to access us on any level, whether it's through clones or whatever. And we have the authority as the original to sever ties with any clone, any of their replication, duplication, or whatever, and to remain in our own original, and to stand in our authority as who we are, what we do, but of who we are. As we are the outsiders. We don't belong here. This is not our home. It is their home. We don't have a right to change their home because it is theirs. But we can stand firmly against their imposing into the people's lives, A, who realize it, and B, who do not wish them to be there. Even in the New Testament, that Jesus couldn't cast out a demon unless the person wanted it out.
Right.
And so it goes back to the whole thing of even Brandon, the dreams we were having about wanting so much for these people to hear and to listen and to understand. And if they do not want to, or if it's not in their program, they're not going to.
Yep.
So that was one thing is the standing in there. If there's anything in common, ask yourself to reveal it to yourself, what it is, your higher self to your conscious self, and stay aware of our own thought patterns or behavior patterns or whatever that might set up something in common. And I noticed she had said something about she had let someone in and then she started being pelted with the stuff again. And that is something that makes this somewhat of a lonely walk, because there are not very many people that we can allow in, simply because whatever they're coming in with is then going to be, when we accept them, then we're accepting everything attached to them, and they're not going to be as detached or anything. And then that rolled right into my thinking on be unattached and detached, and then live unattached, as in these things don't allow them to drag you back in, whether it's through the expression of a positive or negative type emotion, because again, that gives us a linkage to it. They want to stir us up. They want us to get angry and go out and, look for people to, beat up or whatever. We do our fight in the spiritual realms, and that's where we're powerful. As long as they have us focused down here, we can't really do much of anything. But I think that in the higher realms, we're absolutely incredible, and they are terrified of us.
Absolutely agree.
definitely true. One thing I'd just like to add to what you were saying is you mentioned about how they try to entice people to go do things like potentially violence. Well, most of the TV and internet is fake. It's CGI, all the media, so all these stories of things happening. Yes, stuff does happen bad. Also, stuff happens good, but it doesn't get reported. But they just want people to do things that are out of character. So I just wanted to add that.
You're 100% correct. And that's what these voices are, because here's the problem. We are realizing I am not this body. I am not this voice that I hear over here, that I know my true nature and character. And this voice is inconsistent with it. Therefore, and so moment we need to be aware and start pushing it back and command it to stop and to bind its mouth shut, to put our own hedge of protection around us, and that we will repulse any further insertions or attacks or presuppositions, whatever. Do not trespass. And we start to stand in our power, then I haven't had those attacks in several years because of being able to identify them and stand in my own power and start to push them back. And in fact, in my dreams, I will push them back to being, physically in the spirit, jumping out and pushing them back, literally. And that has been for me very effective. So I don't know if that helps anybody or not.
No, it absolutely does. It's just like the dream sequence that I had about a week ago or so, where I was telling it no permission, and it was scared of that. It wouldn't even show its face after I said that. Right. It just it ran and hid itself, and didn't do anything further. And it's like it's an interesting journey in that we're asleep, then we awake, then we become so aware, and then we stand in our power. And at that point, it's game over. Like it's such a crazy experience. And you're totally right. It is a lonely journey because I was telling Jared this earlier. I was like, they want us to seek out, a twin flame or a soulmate or a divine union. There's so many different phrases for it. And when the true whole reunion is with your higher self and that true essence that you're carrying, that you just don't know you're carrying. You can have partners and friendships, it's fine, but they are always pushing you to look outside of yourself for some kind of comfort when the comfort is coming from within. So,
and it's a different kind of comfort. It's not a fleshly comfort. All
correct.
We can is our flesh comfort, and that's where they want us to stay and to see. And when we stop feeding those emotions or needs or things to that effect, I'm not saying being neglectful, but I'm saying where our focus goes, energy flows. And so if we're focused on our spiritual growth and strengthening our own higher self and our own higher spirit, I think that's when we really start to grow and strengthen in that regard. And then eventually, guys, I really think this is what Gary believes anyway, that we'll get so strong in our spirits that we just check out of these bodies.
Our spirit won't have a need for it any longer.
Well, and I just don't think the body will be able to contain us any longer.
Yep.
That sounds incredibly cool. I want to see that happen. I want to do that. That's amazing. That would be awesome.
And that's why they push the suicide
program. Maybe that's spontaneous combustion. You just you figure out the full truth and you accelerate your frequency, and the body just explodes.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that happening, and so that's why we need to lose our attachment to this body, take care of it, like you take care of a house that you're living in. Keep the cobwebs out, and sweep the porches, and wash it down every now and then. But take care of it while you're in it. But what I've been doing also lately is when I hear the other voices start trying to come in, I in my mind, I envision myself stomping and swinging, I don't know, a broom in front of me back and forth, and stomping with, very vehemently stating, get out of here. You don't belong here. You're not invited. You're not welcome. But my saying is that as long as I am in this house, you're not coming in here. It is occupied. And of course, I have some pretty colorful language at times too. So
Love it. I love it.
I add in a few little expletives.
Well, you guys got anything further you wanted to bring out for now, or should we call it good? Just been a good one. Each one's getting better and better, I feel.
Unless you want to cover the reality distortion field for the next few minutes, we could save that for another one.
Let's save it when we have a few more people.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to get quite a bit of input as to their noticing of happenings within their reality. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I want to, because I know you and I mean, I know that Carrie and I have talked about it. We haven't used that term, but we've definitely gone back and forth about reality distortions and things like that. Anyway, but yeah, let's save that one because I'd like to hear what Kat has to say on it. Quite honestly,
yeah,
because she's
we
kind
need
of
more people to talk about it for sure.
She's in the throes of it. I think us three are seemingly moving past it. From a negative standpoint or from a targeting standpoint, but I'd really like to get her feedback on it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, guys, real quick.
For sure.
We can say sayonara.